Every parent and caregiver knows the struggle, right? You want the very best for your kids, but worry they'll be spoiled. That balance, that elusive balance. Well, two psychologists want to help you. The name of their book is Gratitude and Kindness, a modern parent's guide to raising children in an era of entitlement. Carla Fry and Lisa Ferrari are the authors of the book, and they join us now. This is so important, because it is a balancing act that so many parent and caregivers have. It's just unbelievable. But I want to start, Lisa, with you. And what entitlement is, what does that mean?
Well, we do know that an entitled child is an unhappy child. And I think what most parents will relate to is what they would refer to as my child is spoiled. Right, so we've reframed it into the term entitlement, because usually an entitled child is a child who's wanting their needs met, and they get angry and they get whiny and persistent when those needs aren't met.
Yeah, and Carla, they act out. And so are they acting out? Is it an attention-seeking thing? Is that what's happening?
Partially. Well, what Dr. Ferrari was referring to is we're focusing away from spoiled to entitled,
right.
And that isn't just about the child. The child doesn't own that. It is the entire environment. And so unwittingly, we're discovering, the more that we look into it and the more that we look at what comes into our office, is that the focus becomes on giving kids what they want when they're demanding, trying to make them happy, right? Trying to give them what they want, but in the short run they're happy, but in the long run they begin to demand things and expect things, and don't have connected between the relationships and really what that's about. So yeah.
When it comes to parents or caregivers, though, is it about trying to give our kids more than we had, and then we get into trouble in doing so?
Right. So that's what we often call in our therapy practice with parents, misguided efforts. It's they're well-intentioned to raise their kids in a way that they felt they themselves weren't raised. Right, so raising their kids in a more child-centered way, asking them, we're thinking about moving. How do you feel about that? I think when we were younger, our parents said, we're moving.
Yeah, it wasn't,
right?
Talking to the child
right.
and figuring out how they feel and what they want to do. It's you just do.
Right, so in one way, there is that need to sort of do things differently and have a more child-centered approach. In other situations, sometimes a parent is just wanting to overcompensate, right? Overcompensate. We're newly divorced, and we just want to make sure our child's okay, and so our actions are kind of encouraging.
Speaking of actions, and I want to put this question to you, Carla, I thought this was so interesting because you focus on gratitude and kindness in this book, and you say that gratitude is not a word, it's an action. And you focus in on the word thank you, because a lot of us, teach our kids, you say thank you, someone does something, but you say thank you, but it's about feeling it, not doing it. Tell us more about that.
Absolutely. Thank you is just a word, right? It's just a phrase. And kids can say that without meaning, completely without meaning, just as a
It's almost robotic.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we sometimes will experiment with families and kids showing gratitude without saying a word, right? Using that face, using the voice, maybe drawing a picture, doing something different without even using the word thank you, and focusing on the appreciation and the feeling behind it. So thank you it's great. It's a polite thing to do, but it doesn't necessarily mean that there's any oomph behind it. So we really focus heavy on that.
If your kid or kids are entitled, can you change that? Can you reverse it?
Absolutely.
How do you do that?
I mean, the younger, the better.
Yeah.
I mean, with young children, it's much easier to create an atmosphere in the household that is gratitude boosting. When kids get a bit older in their teenage years, it's going to require parents to do a little bit more coaching. It's not going to feel or seem as natural for them. So it's never too late. But it does
we have to start with us first.
Right,
right,
starts
absolutely.
with the parents.
Yeah, it's not, you need to be different, you need to be grateful, we have to show the gratitude ourselves.
You've got to model it.
Yeah, absolutely. And give them words for it, and give them actions in how to really be grateful.
Dr. Carla Fry, Dr. Lisa Ferrari, great to have you both here. Thank you. The book is called Gratitude and Kindness, a Modern Parent's Guide to Raising Children in an Era of Entitlement. And you'll find a link to the Real Parenting Lab on our website, CanadaAM.ctvnews.ca.